party over here on the right. They singing a song from Guinea. Feel free to join and clap, stomp your feet. It's a song called Jolay, out of Senegal, Guinea area. Ah, baby, oh, nah, baby, oh, ah, baby, oh, nah, baby, oh, ah, baby, oh, nah.
Welcome everyone. Welcome to the 10th annual State of Africatown. We are going to be starting in about 5 minutes. Folks are still trickling in. We're getting some of those folks in their seats. Just wanted y'all to know. Let's continue to enjoy this phenomenal drumming.
Tonga,
Alafia.
Alafia,
Alafia means well-being, so welcome also to well-being. Ashe,
Ashe.
that is concretizing the prayer for welcome and well-being. We're saying, let it be so. And if we can say it, we can sing it. We do it like this. Tonga, Alafia. Some of y'all know this. Ashe, Ashe. Tonga, Alafia. Ashe, Ashe.
Oh, that is right. That is right. Let's give it up one more time for these amazing drummers. Hi, everyone. Hello, hello. I'm your MC, Trey Holiday, for this phenomenal event. And to welcome you into this space, let's welcome Tim Lennon from Langston.
Thank you so much, Trey. Thank you so much, everybody in this room. What a beautiful space this is. I want to give props and respects to the elders, the future elders, the youth in the building. This is a beautiful space, and I feel so blessed to be sharing it with you here today. My name is Tim Lennon. I am the executive director of Langston, one of 2 independent nonprofits housed here within the Langston Hughes Performing Arts Institute, a facility owned and operated, managed by the City of Seattle, Parks Department, and Office of Arts and Culture. I just want to thank them for their presence here, holding it down for Black arts and culture in the Central District for 50 years as of last year. So shout out to LPI, shout out to the Office of Arts and Culture. Our thanks to the city for preserving this jewel in our community. Langston's mission is to strengthen and advance our community through Black arts and culture. Our mission is to cultivate Black brilliance, and we do that every day in all kinds of ways, from the Central District to internationally. Locally, we have brilliant young arts leaders like Tiffany Bennett's Real Youth Film Camps. We've got Amir Islam's The Residency holding it down here for the future of hip hop in the city. Programs like our bi-monthly conversation with jazz legend Julian Priester and future jazz legend Casa Overall, holding it down in a 4-part series here over the next several months. Local theater produced by our own Elisa Enrico. Check out Dispersed coming up here in March. On the international side of things, just last night in this very room, we celebrated Kijiji Night with One Vibe Africa, celebrating collaboration and community building across the oceans, across the diaspora, from Kenya to right here in the Central District. We've got the Seattle Black Film Festival. This year we'll be celebrating our 20th year. It's an amazing feat. Bringing you the best in local talent and global talent right here in this room, right here on this screen. So I encourage y'all to check us out, langstonseattle.org. Check out Central District Forum. Come through to any event that you hear about at LPI and keep this space as vibrant, as beautiful, as Black as I see it is right now. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Tim. Great welcome. We also have someone who has been pivotal to the state of Africatown over these entire 10 years, and I get to present her welcome to you all. Former Representative Elder Don Mason and board chairperson, that's right, board chairperson of King County Equity Now and co-convener of this annual event is out of state. So I welcome you for her. Consistency is important, and this is our 10th year since the first time we gathered for State of Africatown. This is a testimony to our ability to grow and sustain the Black population in King County. The former elected official welcomes those who have been elected with expectations that they see and hear today that we are a collaboration of clear thinkers who invest in our children and their future. K.Y. King Garrett, CEO and President of Africatown Community Land Trust, will give our community policymakers and public funders an overview of what has been accomplished within a growing infrastructure. Thank you for being a partner as we grow. The Representative Elder Don Mason. Give it up for her, y'all. Now, as you got to experience some phenomenal drumming, we want to welcome Brother Kalfani to get us right in this space with libation. Brother Kalfani.
Shikamoashe. Naombo ruhusa wazee wangu kutoa dua na tambiko. With the utmost respect, I greet you. And may I ask our elders for permission to offer a prayer and libation? Hey, Asante, and may I ask a young person to bring some water, please? A young person, yeah, guys. I won't ask the mayor. I'm not gonna ask the mayor. That's another young person who's ready to step up and be seen. Let us know they coming. Thank you. Moja. First, I'll pose the pillar fours of libation. Pours are. Oh, we are a young person. Aha. Well, see, then let me ask you to do this. You would take the libation. So, first, the pillar fours of libation pours are ancestral affirmation, floral irrigation, and a historical narration for spiritual supplication. Pili, second, I'll pose and will rightly recognize the historic stewards of this indigenously Salish people's lands, and on which we meet today. So we recognize Walushutsi speakers, their elders, relatives, ancestors, past, present, and future. For just as we survived Mahangamizi or international enslavement crimes, they survived crimes of occupation, and we're thus in their midst. So may we jointly build a legacy that will last for our children to build. Third, I'll thrust that Tambiko or libation is in crowds like this, large, small, is best done daily by African heads of household, with all in their household. And when you pour your libation, you we roll call for recall and remembrance and resilience and inspiration and insight and affirmation of our ancestors. And then lastly, Naomba Hatamawaje kwenye sherehe za mila za Waafrika, there are no observers to African ritual. So we do this together. So, with the rhythm. Now over top, here comes the song. Hey, hey, ah. Let me get that from the feminine energy here. Hey, hey, ah. All right. Hey, pouring libation to honor our ancestors is a very important ritual. It is a timeless African teaching, done from KwaZulu to Kinko here, back to the Book of Ani of Kemet, classical Nubian Egypt, to honor our ancestors by pouring libation. Now, Mutwa Namalana say much of this, but Ani said, pour libation for your father and mother who rest in the valley of the departed. God will witness your actions and accept them. And do not forget this, even when you are away from home, for as you do for your parents who rest in the valley of the departed, so too will your children do likewise for you when you rest in the valley of the departed. And so we say thusly, for our people everywhere then, for Shaka, Samari, and Zinga, Nadahia al-Kahina, for Menelik, Chetewayo, Odinga, Nehanda, Yaasentewa, Sankara, Cabral, Nabiko, and all the others known and unknown who defended our ancestral land, heritage, history, and humanity. That's why we say Ashe. For Boukman, Toussaint, Dessalines, for the maroon colonies around them, and after them, the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey's red, black, and green, now a century old, we say Ashe. For Malcolm, Mark, and Medgar, for Harriet Vandeleu, Sojourner Bethune, and Nat Turner, and all the others, known and unknown, who defended our ancestral land, who defended our heritage, made us stronger. We say Ashe. For Kawaida, it's Nguzo Saba, Nakwanza. For Njia, it's Black Aesthetic, Black Studies, and Black Power. For this wonderful occasion, for what brings us together here, for Africatowns in Seattle and Africatowns worldwide, Ashe. For all of these and all of the good that will be restored and energized as you now call your ancestors, please call them by name, Ashe. Call your ancestors. Call them into the room. Call them into the room, Ashe. Call them into the room, Ashe. Call them into the room, Ashe. Into the room, Ashe. Into the room, Ashe. Help us feel welcome, Ashe. 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 Oh.
That's right, that's right, that's right. Thank you, thank you. Always great to set us off right and to continue to set us off right. We get to hear from one of our amazing songbirds. Let's give it up for the Josephine Howell.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. Yet with the steady beats have not our weary feet come to the place for which our Father sighed. For we have come over a way that the tears have been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered, out of the gloomy past till now we stand at last where the bright gleams of our bright stars is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on our way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light. Keep us forever in the path, we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadow beneath thy hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our native land. So let us march on till victory is won.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So phenomenal. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. All right. Oh my goodness. Up next, I get to bring up an amazing elder in our community who has continued to stay committed to community love and light. Let's bring up Miss Evelyn Allen to present the Elder of Distinction Award. Welcome, Miss Evelyn.
Now is the time that we honor those whose shoulders we stand on. We let them know that we honor the words from Dr. Maya Angelou that says, "We are the realization of the hopes and dreams of the slaves." Since the year 2000, the African American community has awarded the distinct seniors among us with the Elders of Distinction Award. First at the annual Call to Action Black History event in Tacoma, and now since 2000 at the African American Diaspora State of Africatown gathering here. An Elder of Distinction is honored and recognized by the next generations who look up to them for wisdom and guidance. They have created a legacy and passed it on in a way that's sustaining. They arise each day and continue to collaborate with others. The Elders of Distinction Award is not to give them their flowers while they live. It is recognition that multiple generations and those who seek wisdom from among African American individuals, that we have identified those in the African American community whose wisdom and legacy we honor and hold in the highest regard. Now, with those participants who have been honored with the Elders of Distinction Award in the past to our present, and who can, would you please stand or at least raise your hand? And let's honor them with the and the Honorable Miss Dawn Mason, who couldn't be with us today, is also one. So now for our honoree of the state of Africatown for this year, and that's Miss Aaliyah Messiah. tell you a little bit about her, okay? Okay, I want to tell you about what she is. Aaliyah has a lifelong commitment to loving, serving, and building healthy communities. Her own humble and joyous beginnings have allowed her to serve others with great sensitivity, compassion, and conviction of possibility. Hallelujah. She has been employed with POCAN since 1990 and is currently the organization's deputy director. Aaliyah has worked with community and faith-based organizations, practitioners, funders, and individuals to develop and implement culturally relevant strategies and programs. These programs have led to HIV and AIDS awareness, prevention, increased recovery from substance addiction, decreased incarceration recidivism, and housing stability. Aaliyah has also been the co-owner of the Life Enrichment Bookstore, once serving as the only Black bookstore in Washington State. For many years, the Life Enrichment Bookstore has served as the host facility for many of the community events centering on education about Black joy. This event includes Kwanzaa, Gullah Festival, Juneteenth, Critical Conversations with Dr. Maxine Mims, and so many others. As a Washington State native, Aaliyah has planted deep seeds and deep roots with 7 adult children and an expanded community of grandchildren, great-grandchildren, nieces, and nephews. She's a community staple who is deeply sought after by many for her wise counsel, relentless loyalty, and unconditional love and support. We call her one of our wives. So now I present the Elders of Distinction Award to Aaliyah Messiah.
Wow, this is such an honor. God bless. I want to thank God because He's the head of my life. And I want to thank my family who love and support me continuously. And all my extended family, all family. And my community, just continuously the love and support that I receive. Just, there's no reason I wouldn't give it back because it just comes to me and I have to give it back. And I love each and every one of you, and I'm very thankful for this award. Thank you so much, Africatown, and for doing this. And I pray God just to continue to be able to do the work. If I'm in any capacity I can do it in, I will do it in. Because love is all giving, and it just comes from your heart. So if I'm standing, sitting, or laying, you can always show love. Thank you.
You have mine too. Miss Evelyn, I need mine. Miss Evelyn, you have my papers too. Okay. Want to keep us on track here. Let's give it up one more time for Miss Aaliyah Messiah. Wow. Up next, I get to bring up someone who has been dedicated to the Africatown ecosystem for many, many years. Let's give it up, y'all, for Tarasha Thomas presenting the youth presentation.
Lafayette greetings. know me, I like to be behind the scenes. I'm nervous on the mic, so I brought my Centenite stone to kind of calm me down. Thank you. Thank you, Trey. So, as she said, I've been a staple since the inception of Africatown, alum of UPC, Umoja Peace Center, and currently, and since inception, the Secretary at Africatown Center for Education and Innovation, which, if we cannot change our minds, we cannot change our behavior. And that's where we start. Just to update you before we get to the Watoto acknowledgements is at Africatown Center, as I stated before, we are working to change our minds. We have turned out the most brilliance in our own community. So when we get back to that, we will have even more thousands and thousands of years of contributing to what the world has now been benefiting from the 7 sciences. So in the last year, Cherish Preschool remains to be a staple, which is a staple, a preschool from by Infinite Milan. So please, if you have any preschool age melanated children, that will be a place to take them for education and cultural appropriate teachings. We've been in partnership with Summit Sierra to teach their youth culture and organizing. The youth have been helping to bring ideas around Black graduation, which this will also be our 10th year of Black graduation. Last year was our first year back in person. I guess, I don't know if there is a such thing as post-COVID. So this will be the year that we are, another year that we are asking for our community to come in and join us and help plan Black graduation, which happens here in this same building in the month of June. We're looking for youth, we're looking for parents, we're looking for a partnership on how to make this another grand event. In addition to that, we do have Mama Cherie teaching marimba drums. So if anybody is interested in learning marimba, Africatown Center is the place to learn that. Another thing that we do is highlight youth. If you ever see portions of Africatown Spectrum and there's youth involved, a lot of those youth are recruited through programs that we have curated at Africatown Center for Education and Innovation. And of course, our own children. Many of you guys know my daughter, Latricia. Raise your hand. Always willing to fill in. And we also have what we call is a giving tree, which is something of us giving our slightly used items there to. So speaking to the mic. So we have slightly used items that we swap out for each other and with each other. So, getting clothes that look like this are not at the regular, give back places. So Africatown is one of those spots where you can donate your slightly used items and other folks can use those as well. And again, in highlighting some of the youth in our community, I would like to bring up our group of Olu Productions. The video goes first. Okay, so I would like to ask the engineer to roll the video. So Olu Productions currently has Never Too Early.
Hi Africatown, my name is Olu Wesley Dixon. I am 18 years old and I'm the founder and CEO of Olu Productions. We finally have a store, yes we do, in the downtown Seattle area. It will feature the Never Too Early to Create and Innovate members, which have worked with us over the courses of I think around 5 to 6 years now. We started in 2017. At first we did it at MLK was our first one actually, and we had a couple at Northwest Tap Connection. Thank you so much for them allowing us to use their space for that event. Very much appreciate it. But now we have our own plaza. Yes, we have our own plaza. Yes, it will feature everybody that was involved. The ages are in between 4 and 24. Yes, we do have 4-year-olds in this. They're working. They want to be entrepreneurs. Where it will be hosted is 1925 3rd Avenue. That's where the storefront will be. I'll say it one more time: 1925 3rd Avenue, and it was provided to us by Restored Seattle. Thank you so much for them for allowing this business, to flourish, this idea, this dream to flourish. Very, very, very thankful for them. And now we do have a new website. The website is It's Never Early.store, and you can do a little bit more research about what we will be selling there, the other businesses that are there, including mine. And I just want to say thank you so much for the amazing support that our community has given us, and for us to even be in this position to do this. And that's about it. I hope to see you. Our opening should be around March. We will be sending more announcements and getting more stuff figured out about it, but the month of March is when we want to open, so just look forward to that. And thank you again for all your support.
Hello everyone, my name is Zara Dennis. I'm 15 years old and I am the creator of Z-Pop Lip Gloss. Z-Pop is about uplifting people and spreading self-love through each product and really reinforcing that self-positivity and self-worth. The products that we have are lip oils and lip glosses that are vegan, gluten-free, and cruelty-free, that include oils that are really good for your lips and really good for your skin. And
peace. My name is Darajan Heru. I'm 19 years of age. I run a business with my sisters, Asha and Kari Heru, called Holy Trinity. We focus on holistic healing. We sell oils, essential oils, bath bombs, and things of that nature. You can always put in custom orders. Yeah, that's basically our business. Thank you. Peace.
Hi, my name is Nala Finch. I am 10 years old and we are going to be selling candles, and our product name is Live for Love, and we will have different types of scents inside of our candles.
Hi, my name is Nadia Finch. I'm 8 years old. We're going to be selling candles and our product name is Live for Love, and our product, we're going to have different kinds of scents in the candles.
Hi, my name is Hassan. Our business name is Live for Love, and we have types of kind of candles. And I'm 5 years old. Yay!
Hey, this is Sabriana Barquette. I'm 23 years old. My business is Sabriana by Kid Who Dreamed, and I make wearable artwork inspired by ancestry, spirituality, and my dreams.
Hello everybody, my name is Henry Iguala and I am the founder of HI Design.
At High Designs, our goal is to provide professional, simple, and affordable digital content for small business owners and entrepreneurs. That includes content like websites, flyers, logos, and much more. Come check us out at highdesigns.org.
And to no further ado, we have some of the squad of Never Too Early. And again, when we cultivate our own brilliance,
Hi, my name is Sydney Thomas, and I am 12 years old. I'm a 7th grader at Seattle School for Boys. Our business name is called Brothers Snack Shop, and I have 2 younger brothers who share the business with me. They are 6 and 9, and they are in the 1st and 4th grade. Their names are Gianni and Nico Thomas. We make custom snack boxes and snack bags for any occasion. We are a seasonal business, and you can find us on Instagram. Thank you, and thank you, Africatown.
Howdy, everybody. My name is Henry Iguala, owner of HI Designs.
Hi, I'm Sabriana.
Greetings, my name is Darajai of Holy Trinity.
So thank you. Another big round of applause for the young geniuses. Never too late. And please contact me, get in touch with me if you're interested in helping to formulate Black graduation. We really need community support, and we look forward to our 10th year celebration.
Woo! Let's give it up one more time for those youth, y'all. Them feeling that love is so important. Wow. I'm gonna leave it to the booth. We have an amazing presenter coming up next. Check it out.
The Black health matters physically and also mentally, and that's where it's catching us, man.
Absolutely. This is why we gotta really be appreciative for services and organizations out there that are intentional to provide free therapeutic services to Black community members. Shout out to Washington Therapy Fund, our girl Ashley McGirt, everything that they're doing over there. When you look at the reports of all of the people that they've been able to help, it's phenomenal, man. And it's definitely necessary.
We currently serve everyone throughout the Black diaspora in Washington State and are expanding to California residents starting in San Diego.
We provide workshops, education, tuition assistance, and cultural events around mental health related issues. Some of our programming includes our free therapy fund, which we are most known for, the youth wellness services, community safety, peer support, and our McGirt Hair program that provides tuition assistance to reduce the impact of financial burdens placed on our future clinicians dedicated to serving the Black community.
All of our services are offered at no cost, while also ensuring we compensate therapists and peer supports a market level rate.
So a friend of mine told me that she knows a program that you can get 6 sessions of therapy for free, and then I asked my therapist about it, and she was like, oh yeah, I'm actually a part of this program, and she sent me the link to y'all's application, and that's kind of how I heard about it. Right now I'm 3 sessions in, and it's been going really well. I really appreciate the therapist that I have, and one of the things specifically that I went to this therapist for is because she's a therapist who looks like me, and it was really hard to find therapists who would take my insurance and would give me good support, I guess. But through this Washington Therapy Fund, I was able to find a therapist who looks like me, but also who's willing to take my insurance afterwards. Yeah. So it was a nice
And she's calling on white allies to get involved. King 5's Britt Moore explains how you can help.
Global protests and bubbling racialized traumas have Black therapists working overtime.
A lot of people actually seek me out because there's not a lot of Black clinicians in the state of Washington, and 2, there's very few of us who actually specialize in this work.
Ashley McGirt is a licensed therapist who's helping her clients tackle 2 pandemics at the same time.
They reach out to me, but it's been exacerbated with the protest and with the killing of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery. So it's been a lot of tension added on to the grief of experiencing all the losses of COVID-19, plus recognizing that the number 1 people exposed and impacted by COVID-19 are Black people.
You even begin to explain the emotional turmoil that Black people are experiencing right now.
Yeah, so again, it's nothing new. It's something that we have always experienced. We just build up a lot of emotional resilience, but our bodies don't. And what I see is that a lot of Black people are exposed to chronic stress-related illnesses like chronic heart failure, strokes, and things that really impact the body, which I attribute a lot to racism and the oppressive system.
Our vision is a society that offers health equity for all Black people with a special focus on mental health.
That leads to fewer suicides, decreased depression and anxiety, less violence, improved productivity, increased graduation rates, longer lifespans, and improved mental health and well-being.
You can learn more about the work we are doing and ways to support us by visiting www.therapyfundfoundation.org.
Thank you, thank you. At the Therapy Fund Foundation, we are working to create health equity that addresses structural barriers that lead to poor outcomes to Black community members' mental health. And I'm gonna share very, very briefly about the work that we are doing to address barriers to eliminate Black healing. Each and every one of us has mental health, and 1 in 5 of us experiences a mental illness. Nearly 60% of adults with a mental illness did not receive mental health services. Additionally, Black community members seek mental health services at half the rate of white Americans. Through the work that we were doing at the Therapy Fund Foundation, we are working to change those numbers. This year, we are funding 200 Black Washingtonians with 8 free therapy sessions while reimbursing clinicians a market level rate. With a simple and easy practice that no insurance company does, which is the reason why many Black clinicians and even other clinicians do not accept insurances. We are creating a circular economy in the behavioral health field that is predominantly white institutionalized. What we are doing is creating low barrier opportunities for under-resourced Black providers to support clients so they can authentically deliver services while reducing provider burnout. Current insurance policies only reimburse mental health services from a crisis-centered model, and the rates are extremely low, as you can see here on a grid. On average, what most insurance companies across the entire United States reimburse clinicians. In Washington State, Medicaid is $30 once you break it down and you do all of the billing, and that's just not acceptable. So we hope to continue to implement better practices of care by decolonizing the way we practice therapy through our free therapy fund and by providing 200 Black Washingtonians with free therapy, and that's gonna cost us $208,000. We cannot do this work without community, without you, without showing up. So I've added a QR code here for anyone who is able to support our work and our programming so that we continue to bring free therapy not only to Washington, but as we expand across the entire nation. So getting into the data quickly, 79% of those we funded last year had an annual income of $50,000 or less. And 90% of the people who applied with us had an ACE score of 6 or higher, having experienced significant adverse childhood trauma. 77% of the applicants we approved last year had a primary concern of feeling anxious or depressed, 50% with racial stressors, and 53% reached out due to grief and loss. And in November, Keisha Credit, one of our board members, organized a separate fund for friends and family of Devon Pickett Jr. So I'm extremely excited that his wife here, and she's gonna be presenting next. And we funded all 13 of the applicants who applied for services. Black community members tend to be overdiagnosed with schizophrenia and less often with mood disorders due to racial bias in healthcare. Additionally, they're offered services and treatment at less than those from the white community. And there's also only 0.2% clinicians throughout the entire United States, which is why we're doing the work that we're doing and putting more Black clinicians into this field. Last year, we paid $25,000 to support future Black clinicians doing this work. Lastly, thank you. We believe that wellness, joy, and abundance is our birthright as we strive to reclaim what has been stripped away through racism, oppression, colonization, as we fully embrace wholeheartedly wellness. And there's a number of ways that you can continue to support this work, from donating, volunteering, spreading awareness, going to therapy. When you heal yourself, you heal our community. So thank you so much. And also in July, we are hosting our inaugural behavioral health conference to help improve mental health outcomes for communities of color. And I would love to see each and every one of you here. Thank you.
Yes, let's give it up. Great work, Ashley. Phenomenal. Up next, we actually have somebody who's doing phenomenal work with youth and bringing baseball back to the forefront in our community. Let's give it up for Jerron Buki Gates, y'all, with Baseball Beyond Borders.
Thank you, Trey. Good morning. It's good to see familiar faces here. First of all, I'm a servant leader, lover of all things baseball, born and raised on the confines of Garfield Playfield. This is my home. I was born to a father that gave me the gift of play, to a mother that raised 25,000 kids at Garfield High School through her 32-year tenure. I'm here to share this space with many of you that actually have been coached or mentored by my mother or father, so it's an honor to be here. What we recognize is that baseball has a rich and complex history in the United States, with the earliest documented game happening back in 1846. It took about 100 years from then where Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier. But before Jackie, there was Bud Fowler, there was Moses Fleetwood Walker, there was a host of black ball players looking to produce and play baseball and, one, be included in a sport that they loved. But what we found is that it was through the determination of Andrew Rube Foster back in 1920 who brought a host of black men and black people together inside of a Kansas City YWCA or YMCA that said, why shouldn't black players be owned by black people? So therefore, the Negro National League formed in 1920 and flourished through 1940s. Well, Negro League Baseball not only created this inclusivity within the sport, but it also embraced women athletes. Toni Stone, Mamie Johnson, Connie Morgan, also a woman owner in Effa Manley. So this inclusionary practice happened long before we considered to look at Title IX as being the option or the wherewithal that allowed women to begin to play. So when we look at this, Dr. John Perkins once said, Negro League Baseball opened the door, but Jackie Robinson tore the fence down. Well, let's fast forward. Baseball Beyond Borders was formed out of this pain of displacement, out of the passion for play, and out of the purpose for preserving the cultural legacy that Andrew Rube Foster created, but also the pioneer of reviving baseball in the inner city here in Seattle, the late Joe Staten, who is not with us any longer. So when we get into this data, baseball and softball are declining in overall participation regionally. We also know that nationally across all levels, baseball and softball that track race and ethnicity, there is a very low and declining number in the amount of black African Americans that participate. Girls, youth with disability, and immigrants and newcomer youth particularly face more barriers to accessing baseball and softball than anyone else. What we come to find out is that in 2022 on opening day, Major League Baseball recorded its highest rate of players of color. But before you start clapping your hands, the highest rate of players of color, that was 38%, but only 7.4 were black African American. That is a decrease of 0.4% since 2001. We go into the likes of collegiate baseball. Well, collegiate baseball saw a percentage of color increase from 2012 to 2021, but the percentage of black ball players stayed at 4%, and that's including historically black colleges and universities. When we look at college softball, the numbers are very similar, still only 4%. But if we start to trickle down into community ball, little leagues and high schools, the data is very limited and is not disaggregated. But the average age of a Little League player is approximately 9 years old. And that is the steepest rate of decline in participation that occurs after 12. So the reason why we don't see enough black African Americans in high school baseball is because they don't have a pathway that allows them to transition after the age of 12. Our model is sustained through this collective impact. Our community partnerships will continue to drive the work and fill the gaps. But this work cannot be siloed to simply just programs. We have to bring a reformed approach to disrupt the structures and systems that create the inequities within the sport that do not allow our kids to access play at a high level. And so our theory of action, as you can see on the screen, is one, we have to increase exposure to play. The introduction to baseball and softball opportunities is important. We have to build incubator leagues, the pipeline towards high school. Why don't we have an Africatown League? And that is something that I'm looking to pursue now. Advanced development. How do we advance the pipeline of African American players and coaches? If we don't have those mentors, those leaders, and many of you in this space have produced or were raised by a significant African American male or female that was involved in the sport of baseball. This is our legacy. And we have to have a power of place. Access to fields and facilities is important. And if we don't have those, we have to create the spaces and not only just open up the doors for rentals, but we need to create ownership. So by increasing this inclusivity in baseball, we can help the sport become more innovative, competitive, and successful. But how do we do this, right? How can you help? And I don't think that there's a dollar amount that can really contribute to the massive amount of resources required for this sport of baseball. But we can document our history. One important way to preserve the cultural legacy is to document the history of blacks in baseball, and that includes those locally within our city. And many of you have stories that experience baseball and softball, whether it was the Black Community Festival tournaments that we had that allowed our students to then ride in the front of a 1970 Ford pickup truck as the Grand Marshal throwing out candy to our community. We can celebrate black baseball by mentioning Negro Leagues, preserving the cultural legacy through museums and historical landmarks. We can also support black baseball. There's organizations out here doing great work, looking to expand on the opportunities that exist. And this year, in 2023, Major League Baseball is bringing the Reviving Baseball in the Inner City Tournament here to Seattle. Baseball Beyond Borders is hosting it, so that is going to open up the doors and be a catalyst for the movement. I'll leave you with this. History of blacks in baseball, including Negro Leagues, is an important part of American sports history. It is crucial to offer our children an opportunity to play baseball and softball so that they can experience the joy that Andrew Root Foster and late Joe Staten wanted to create for the opportunity there. Baseball is a beautiful game, especially when played in community. I'll leave you with this quote from the late, great Buck O'Neil. Don't feel sorry for the black baseball player. Feel sorry for the ones that never get to see them play. Thank you.
Good job, Buki. Phenomenal. Great work. Up next, we have great work continuing. We have Robert Baker and Lucretia Clater from Acts on Stage. Let's give it up for them, y'all.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lucretia Clater. I'm a board member of Acts on Stage.
And my name is Robert Baker, and I am the president of the board of Acts on Stage. Acts on Stage was launched in July of 2020, right in the heart of the pandemic. Founded by Michelle Lang, Raymond, and Isaiah Anderson Jr. Yeah, please give it up for them. I will say, they send their regards. Michelle's son is in a basketball tournament over in Spokane, so she had to get there, and Isaiah lost a family member. Vikings.
That's what I said.
G-House.
Whatever.
Thank you. And Isaiah lost a family member, so he had to leave town, so please keep him in your prayers. As I said, founded by Michelle Lang, Raymond, and Isaiah Anderson Jr., Acts on Stage mission is to be a performing arts theater that centers the voices talents, works, and initiatives for people of color and creative of faith. Our core values is to elevate the arts and all the audiences with high quality point works that are not only entertaining, but also relevant, meaningful, and transformational. Our vision is to be a driving force behind a new era renaissance where creativity creates social change.
While some look at the arts as just entertainment, we know, and research confirms, that creative and performing arts have much deeper social implications than that. Implications like promotes expression and creativity. The arts are especially important for our children. Students within an arts-rich education have better GPAs, score better on standardized tests in reading, math, and have lower dropout rates. We develop necessary soft social skills, intangible attributes such as adaptiveness, collaboration, and confidence. The arts are universal ways to develop soft skills that make us better people, community, and co-workers. Provides historical context. The arts help us learn about other generations and eras and teaches us to learn from the lessons of our predecessors. In the same way, future generations will gain knowledge and inspiration from what we create now. Art leads to healthy and thoughtful cross-cultural discussions. Art is often, all right. Art leads to healthy and thoughtful cross-cultural discussions. Art is often controversial and groundbreaking. It holds the potential to stir and spark healthy conversations that leads to improvements across society. Art gives us the opportunity to analyze, respond to, and create social change. Art gives us a place to gather and celebrate as a society. Culture brings cultures big and small unite through the arts to build better communities.
Since 2020, Acts on Stage has produced over 20 live shows, digital and in-person events. We have hired and paid hundreds of actors, musicians, and technicians. We have provided event space for families, artists, and community organizations. And we are blessed to have sell out dozens of shows and have thousands of people enjoy Acts on Stage theatrical experience.
For the past 2 years, we have overseen the management of the city's signature program, the Teen Summer Musical. Woo! Okay. All right. Through the Teen Summer Musical programs, we have added to hundreds of children and youth served by this program over the last 25 years. Yeah, give it up for that. While implementing a new summer internship program that hires dozens of college-age interns for summer employment. We have partnered with dozens of local businesses and other nonprofits on social and disaster relief efforts, and
we are set to launch our Young Artist Development Program, Renaissance 20, in a month. This program matters because just like young athletes and kids gifted in STEM, there are kids who are artists and need to be affirmed and developed in a discovery of their gifts and passion.
You should also know our board is intentionally reflective of our community. We serve and we are committed to expanding the capacity, the Acts on Stage mission, and pursuing the longevity of our vision. We plan for Acts on Stage to be around doing great work for a very long time.
Yes. Finally, we want you to know that Acts on Stage is not just an idea, it is a place. We are located in the White Center neighborhood just north of Burien. And we invite you to come to our latest production of Pipeline, which runs March 31st through April 9th.
And for more information about this or any of our other programming, please visit our website at actsonstage.com. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes. Great work. If you haven't been down to Acts on Stage, please get there as soon as you can. Well, of course, we are a bit limited on time, but I get to welcome K.Y. King Garrett, followed by Mayor Harrell.
Peace. Good morning, y'all. Let's give it up for 10 years on this stage. I want to thank the team here at Africatown and all its formations for the hard work to bring this together. Langston for hosting again for 10 years. 10 years ago was myself and Don Mason and Royal Alley Barnes, who was the director then, and came together and with the Black Community Impact Alliance and kind of highlighted and launched that. And we've been coming back every single year, giving reports on the progress, pushing forward the vision across many mayoral administrations. I think this may be number 4. And we think, you guys heard that, he said this is gonna be the best one. So we're all for that, so I'm gonna cut my remarks short. But I mean, 2013, we took a stand at Horace Mann for our community, for that you know, for our education in our community, and that our legacy should not be removed, and that our children deserve to enjoy continuing the legacy that their parents and their grandparents and their great-grandparents established in this community. In that time, we've on this stage lifted up probably 100 different community change makers, initiatives, and projects that are moving forward our community. There's a saying that where there's no vision, the people perish. But what we can see is that where there is vision, the people persist. And that's what Africatown has represented. Proof that despite the problems that we face, the solutions are among us. The medicine is within us. As you have seen just today, powerful initiatives to address the issues in our community. And this has been a listening post for elected officials to hear directly from the change makers so the policies can come from the ground up, from the grassroots up, and not from the top down. Inspired by legacy, powered by infinite possibility, Africatown, with your support, with so many of our community members, partners, have been able to be a vanguard voice and force on the front lines, from the street level to the suite level, pushing the line for our people to be able to access what they truly deserve. And you saw some of those initiatives in the video. a lot of people didn't believe that black people in Seattle had a future in 2013 and 2014 when we first came to this stage. The community was written off. Oh, the Central District, gentrification has happened, black people are gone, focus on Chinatown ID in South Seattle. We said no. And in the words of DJ Khaled, shameful. Shame on you who didn't believe. But you know who did? All right. So now we see the Renaissance rising. Right? We see on 23rd and Union. You been to 23rd and Union lately? You see Communion, you see Earls, you see Art Noir, you see Miss Helen's coming back, you see Jerk Shack coming, bringing their second location into the community, Cafe Evolve. You go down the block, you see Shakrina Cafe. You keep going, you see the Postman. Right? So there's a renaissance, but it didn't stop on Union. It started on Union with the Liberty Bank building. My father went and put up signs when Key Bank closed. He went and put up Liberty Bank on the signage. I said we need to reclaim our community asset. And we see 23rd and Jackson. You see Catfish Cornerback. You see Simply Soulful open a second location. Grand opening yesterday. We see Queen Care. We see Boosh. We see 23rd Avenue Brewery. We're still just getting started. So, we know when we first came to the stage here, the average median income for black people was $27,500 in Seattle, according to the Seattle Times. And it was $70,200 for whites. 5 years ago in 2018, it was $105,000 for whites and $42,000 for $500 for blacks. As of last year, 2022 Seattle Times reported that the average median income for whites, no, Asians were at the top of this one. $125,000, $422,000. Whites were $118,000, and blacks were at $41,343. So we love the fact that we are normalizing groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings in our community. We're normalizing that. You see our children, they're holding the shovels. They got their hats on so they can be connected to this legacy of building their community. But at the same time, we see these numbers still getting worse. So we know we have work to do. The good thing is we know we can do it. You can see evidence. You can come back here every year and see proof of concepts. But one project, two projects, in the scheme of things, may not bring the future we want. But if we scale it, if we have the support, we continue to get behind it and push it forward and elevate it, we can make sure that happens. From the ARPA, American Recovery Act, to the infrastructure bill, there's over $4 trillion, an unprecedented amount of money that has been released into this economy in this country. Money is coming to this state. We have to make sure the money that comes from the federal government to the state reaches what? Our streets, and facilitates not just building back better, but also building black better. A future that's greater than our past, but inspired by our past. We see cannabis equity, $200 million, the work led by Jim Buchanan and the Washington Cannabis Alliance, $200 million allocated for cannabis equity, and then they had a mistake, significant mistake, I don't know if it was an accident, but the Central District and the South End were not a part of where those resources were supposed to be focused. After weed and seed was right here, ground zero started in the United States of America in the Central District and South End of Seattle. So we have to, again, stay vigilant. Even when we win, we have to make sure that the ultimate goal is being met, and that goal is repair. In order to close that gap that we heard about, that we see still persists, we have to have bold, reparative, reparation policies that focus on our community, specifically the black community that endured. We support all communities. Communities are reaching out to us. Thank you for your advocacy. In Chinatown, we're getting our projects funded because of the advocacy of the black community. Other communities following suit, and we support that. But what we don't want to happen is what happened with affirmative action, which was supposed to be reparations. And we know the majority of the benefit of affirmative action went to white women, which went back into white families that already had maldistributed our income. So we have to make sure they come up with new terms, BIPOC, that just popped out of nowhere. We said we're not people of color, because a long time ago they said we were colored people, then we said no to that. Then we said no to colored people. Then they said people of color. Then we said we wanted black. And then the indigenous. Then they said BIPOC. We don't know. We don't know. When you come to this state, we want to be specific and clear. If my car gets hit by your car, there's a lot of other car accidents happening too. But the insurance claim has to make sure my car gets repaired and made whole. And our community has been damaged by past policies that are clearly outlined, from the federal to the state to the county to the city to the private sector. So we want to see repair. When we talk about the next decade, it's taking it to the next level. We want a 10X. We want a 10X. We want to see not just our projects in the CD, not just rental. We want home ownership back, right? We need ownership. We know before innovation was happening in the South Lake Union, Quincy Jones, Jimi Hendrix, Ray Charles, they were right here in this community innovating. D. Charlene Williams, right here in this community innovating. So there's a long legacy of innovation, and we want to lift that up. So we're excited about the William Gross Center for Cultural Innovation opening the old fire station. Yes, we have 600 units, approximately $300 million in development in our pipeline, but we want to push that over the next 10 years. By 2030, we want to have 1,000 units. We want to have $1 billion in development in our community. We want to see black contractors, which we're supporting. Over 50% on Africatown Plaza, unheard of in this city. Black contractors building. We had to do a joint venture. We want our black contractors to stand on their own building these projects across the city. So it's going to take support. The sky is not our limit. But why shouldn't we have a skyscraper on the skyline of Seattle? I think we should. What do y'all think? We don't have to be limited. We spend money downtown. They said it's our waterfront too. And we want to be represented. But regardless of all our projects, our physical projects, we know that buildings don't build community. People do. And we know our people are still hurting from many of the injuries that we've suffered psychologically, social, emotional, trauma, and we have to heal from that. So great to see what our healers are doing in our community, and we have to scale that up and remove those barriers to access to the proper, culturally responsive health care. It's coming. It's coming. We got solutions in our community. We honor Dr. Mutulu Shakur, who just came home, who introduced acupuncture as a means of healing recovery in the South Bronx, and we are introducing that into this community. We know we have an opioid crisis our family members are falling victim to. You know, as I close, to make way for what will be our greatest mayor. And he said it's going to be our greatest term as Africatown, as a black community, to share. I do want to just honor some of the people that we were able to give flowers to before they passed on. Mr. Charles Jackson, here on this stage in 2020, our Elder of Distinction for his work with young people. Mr. Devon Pickett Jr., who was on this stage 2020, sharing his vision with his wife, Kiana, who's here again today. And we want to make sure that we continue to be the village that raises that businesses and supports it and sustains and supports the family. Mr. Joe Staten, CAY. Mr. Baseball. To honor those legacies, to honor our great history, the greatest thing we can do is make our history great. That's each and every one of us every day is writing a page in the history of Black Seattle. Your family legacy. There's no limit on how great that can be. So thank you for joining us today, again, for the 10th annual. Thank you to our elected officials that are here. Our mayor, I see our superintendent of schools, Brent Jones. I see our city council, Sarah Nelson. Do we have any other elected officials? Teresa Moscata, she's sitting in the back. Our city council. So, yes, Seattle has the opportunity to lead this nation. Africatown has been a spearhead, a vanguard, but it's not about just Africatown projects. Africatown, the vision is the success of many projects, many entrepreneurs, many organizations, many individuals having success and thriving in their community. So we made it 10 years. Let's not make the mistake that the Seahawks made on the verge of that second Super Bowl and not give the ball where it needs to go. So keep supporting Africatown, keep coming out. We're gonna stay about that action. Our children deserve better and the world needs our best. Thank you.
Can y'all hear me? All right, let's give it up, let's give it up. Now we get to hear from the mayor himself. Let's give it up for Mayor Bruce Harrell.
Thank you very much. So, if you notice in Y. King's brilliance, he has mastered what I call the 4 I's. Number one, he didn't talk about himself. If you notice that, he never does, very rarely. He talks about what he's doing for the community. The 4 I's, I think, are the mark of brilliance. Or number one, his ideology, his philosophy, what he believes in, is spot on in terms of what he's trying to do for the community. Number two, he's inspiring. I'm sitting here getting inspired for the babies here. Number three, then he takes all of that and he translates it into specific ideas. It's just, you don't have to yell at me. And by the way, you can yell at me. I sort of signed up for that on this job that I have. You can yell at me, I just don't listen. There's only one person in this room that's earned the right to yell at me where I listen, and that's my wife sitting right here. And I only fake like I'm listening with her. And fourthly, he knows how to implement. So as the City of Seattle's mayor, I'm actually honored to follow his 4 I's. And I'm very serious and very committed when I say, under our administration, we will be the strongest partners of those 4 I's because it's the right thing to do. It's morally the right thing to do. Now, I try to come to what I call family events like this. I'm sitting here with family, and I don't come with pre-notes because I want to feel the rhythm, feel the vibe of what's happening. So here's my speech right here. This is the vibe. I wanted to start off with What's not in my bio, I looked at Wikipedia the other day, is that a lot of you don't know I was a vocalist music teacher in my younger years, and I found this little student. She could not sing at all, and I saw potential in her, and I taught her. She left. Now that'd be Josephine Howell. I saw something in her that others didn't see, and I was just very proud when she. And I noticed, by the way, when our community sing that national anthem, we sort of, the brother on the PowerPoint was his rhythm was a little off. You know, after you say "Stony the road we trod" on that second stanza, you know we need help on that. You know I didn't teach music. Josephine Howell is such a beautiful person. I never taught, you know, in this era where these politicians seem to get elected by lying their way to situations, I don't want to fall into that trick bag, so let me not start here in Seattle. My rhythm is off a little bit, though, I have to tell you, so I'm going to try to keep it together. I had something happen last night that's thrown my rhythm off today, and so it was a good day yesterday in terms of, you know, we got a few things accomplished. The sky was blue, and I have a little aluminum boat. I'm sort of known as the crappie king in certain circles. I like to fish a little bit, and I pulled this little 18 aluminum foot boat out of the garage and just clean up a little bit, and I kept it out, and my wife parked right next to it, and she had just gotten her car out the shop about 6 weeks ago because it had a little fender bender thing, and I pulled it back in, and I smacked her car again. And I'm not pointing fingers at anyone, but the car was not where it was supposed to be. And last night in the Harrell household, we had a few words about, but we're holding hands this morning, 3 decades strong, love my wife. But caution to you young sisters that when you park your car, make sure you park it in the same place every time, because some people are relying on that. Okay. Now, I want to be serious, though. One reason why this particular event, I remember last year, is so important, and I think under Africatown's leadership, that when I grew up here in the Central District, back in the day, that I used to listen to this Curtis Mayfield song, and it was "We're a Winner." You remember that one? We're a winner. I'm not going to sing it, but you remember that. And it always reaffirmed, in light of 400 years of blatant race discrimination, it affirmed that in a world where we're constantly playing catch-up ball, that we're winners. We're winners. And one thing about Africatown is we don't look at these issues through rose-colored glasses, but we're celebrating. We're celebrating because that is sustainable. And when I listen to Y. King and others speak, I talked about Buki, for example, and his love and passion for younger kids in baseball. I know the other day we had Devon Pickett, I know Kiana's here, and we had a street signing in his name. I said, little by little, we will preserve the best in Seattle, which is our community. I grew up right in the Central District. I mean, I used to go to school just 16th and Cherry was the house my parents lived in when I was born. This is home. My job as mayor is to make sure our community is vibrant and safe. And we're celebrating that because you are helping me do the work. When I won, you won. Let me repeat that. When I won, you won. And, you know, my job, I had to make several calls because I have to constantly make decisions. Remember, I have a $7 billion budget I'm responsible for. I have about 12,000 employees, 41 department heads. I have a lot of responsibility. And I will tell you that I ask for grace. I get up in the morning and I pray. And I ask for wisdom, and I believe that I'm put here for a reason, to make faith-based decisions and try to love my community, but I'm human. Every now and then I may accidentally bump the love of my life's car by accident when it's not parked in the right place. I'm human. But we sometimes fight each other and pull each other down. You know what I'm talking about. I went to T.T. Minor Meany in Garfield. I lived in the city, and then the University of Washington for law school and college. I was on a football scholarship. I was used to, you know, getting, I'm gonna call Roselle out. Roselle's a member of our Seattle Police Department from Rainier Beach, he just told me, first of all, I know he was a good basketball player. He's 6'6", played professional. I knew he was a good football player. He was a quarterback at Rainier Beach. Now he tells me he's a baseball player too, when Buki's thing. But I say that this is the best of the best in the community. When I try to surround myself, I try to do that. And when we talk about protecting our community through the housing strategies that Africatown is doing, through those, there's the softer skills too. When I got brothers like this, I says, hey man, he is trying to protect the community. We know what happened in parts of this city and in other countries with our police department. I met with every single department, police department, every single roll call, and I said, I'm your mayor, this is my expectation of you. Protect my community. See the face of your brother and your sister, your mother and father, and everyone you deal with. One thing that I have that this job has brought is relationship capital. I meet with the most important people in terms of corporate America, the CEOs, you name the person, I've met this person and I have relationships with them. All the way down to the little babies that were at Kiana's husband's name signing. And when I talk about One Seattle, the idea, the love, the commitment is that everyone matters. That little baby we're trying to protect is as important as the person making $1 billion decision. In One Seattle, we don't separate our commitment to people. Africatown is about building community, about making sure that our voices is heard. We are celebrating it. And I got to tell you, in this sort of, in this world of crazy politics, remember that old song, If You Don't Know Me By Now, who sang that song? Who sang it? See, that was sort of a trick question. It was Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, but it was Teddy Pendergrass when he was part of the Blue Notes. Trick question. You know me. There's people that grew up with me. I was 8, 9, 10 years old. I was saying the same things I was saying then. When I was at Garfield, quite frankly, that we're a winner, I looked up Curtis Mayfield. I befriended Curtis Mayfield and got to know him personally, as my wife knows, because he changed my life, and I didn't know him. I grew up around the dope game. It was around everywhere, and I said, look, I wanted to do something with my life. My mom and dad didn't go to college. I wanted to get out and be something better than I thought everyone else in my neighborhood was trying to be. And so I'm going to introduce a young brother here that's part of my presentation, because if I'm going to talk about one thing that I'm trying to do in my administration, I hired him at a very senior level. He just started a couple of weeks ago. Is that a brother? He's going to come up here, and I'm going to introduce him a little better. But the relationship capital that I'm talking about is that's what I need to share with our community. There are about 800,000 people here or so in this city, and they could fill up this room and make sure that our babies understand things that perhaps we don't know. English is a second language for many people. Perhaps there's people that know how to golf or write code or perform art or can write or know how to do research or know how to draft strategic plans, a master's in social media. All these people, all these skill sets, I have relationships with people, and I want to bring them into our community as mentors and counselors and big brothers and big sisters. And I asked a brother who I grew up with his father right here in the Central District. And I know he will lead this work because his family is all about this work. And his uncle and my brother used to run these streets back in the day. And his dad and I chose a different direction. And it's very personal. So his name is Ramel Witherspoon. And before I even knew the skill set I was looking for, and I'll say a few words and close after Ramel speaks. I just wanted him to introduce yourself because he's going to be with Dr. Jones here, our superintendent. This is where the magic is going to happen for our community. So in addition to supporting Africatown, I want this relationship capital to kick in. Now I got to tell you, my first priority on trying to find this person to give us this secret sauce is someone who looked like Drake. Come on up here, Ramel. So, he's not Drake, but he's nothing but love and family. This is Ramel Witherspoon. I just wanted him to share a minute or so just so he can, the community can better know.
I appreciate that, Mr. Mayor. I know for sure that if you want to know what a man will do, follow him home and see what he's already done. And how good does it feel to have the safety and security of knowing that our leader and our mayor, we can look at his resume that precedes him, that we know where we are going based on where we know he has been. And for that, we celebrate him and give him a round of applause. I heard the Mr. Mayor come up and he talked about the 4 I's, and I just want to add 2 more I's, one being IQ, intelligence quotient. I think that is going to be very important to execute all of these plans that I'm hearing. And the other one is intellectual development. Whenever we can develop intellectually, see, you can take my money, you can take my house, you can take all these things, but the one thing you cannot take is what I've developed between the ears. And then when you look at the explosive C4, there are 4 elements that have to detonate at the same time in order for it to be explosive. And after everything that I've seen to accumulate it, I believe that if you have confidence, if you have the ability to compete, if you have community, and if you have the ultimate, and that is if you just accumulate all of these C's, community, compete, confidence, it's going to detonate at a level that has never been seen before. I stand before you in the name of the mayor, but more so to develop our mentorship program so that we can bridge the gap between where we are going and where we currently are. And I believe that it's important to meet our kids, to meet our youth where they are, and to answer questions that they're not being asked, but to also give them the ideology that a setback is just a setup for where you're going. And so the way that I foresee working with superintendent and working with the different powers that be throughout the city is to create these images for our youth, such as a short story that I recently saw. And there was this lady who was at the zoo, and the zookeeper was tending to the zoo, and this giraffe was about to give birth. And the mom giraffe gives birth, and the baby giraffe is laying on the floor for about 15 minutes. Then out of nowhere, pow, she kicks the newborn. And the lady said to the zookeeper, whoa, why would she kick her newborn like that? And she said, because the mom giraffe knows that in the wild, lions prey on the weak. So she doesn't want her baby to get comfortable on the floor because you'll be food for the elements that are in the wild. And so after the baby finally gets on his feet and is starting to make its way, bow, the mom kicks it back off of its feet. And the lady said to the zookeeper, I understand why she kicked it to get up, but I don't understand why she kicked it back off of its feet. And this is the word for Seattle. This is the word for our community. And the zookeeper said, because the mom wanted to remember how it got up the last time. There are going to be times where we fall, but we cannot have amnesia and the ideology that we can look at our history and realize that if we got up once, you messed up, because I know I can get up again. And then as soon as I fall down 6, I'm going to get up 7. I'll fall down 7, I'm going to get up 8, because durability is greater than ability. And that's what I want our youth to have, that consumption. And if we can just be durable, there's nothing you can do to stop me. You might be able to postpone it, but you can't stop this freight train that's coming. So I'm looking forward to us to starting at the very bottom all the way up to the top and getting between our youth's ears to get them to realize that your mind is what your brain does for a living. Because the brain is the actual muscle, but your mind is the imagination. What a man thinks in his heart, so is he. If we can control what they think about themselves, can't stop this freight train that's coming. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
That's Ramel Witherspoon. So as Africatown continues to build capital structures to keep our community safe and here, physically here, cultural institutions, this senior person in our administration is going to help with the magic, with the kids, with the mentoring, bringing in the skill sets. I'm here with my chief of staff, my wife, Gerald Hankerson, you know, to Dr. Brent Jones. Can you all just stand up? Because this is my family helping me do this work. This is part of my administration. No, not y'all don't have to stand. This is my family right here. So I'm going to close by saying this. Joaquin mentioned $300 million of development. That's where we are. It's not where we're going to be. And part of this exchange, I gave the State of the City address a couple of days ago, and we had to practice and go over this. And this, by the way, it's sort of a tough gig I got, by the way. And we thought about really what we wanted to say. And I talked a lot about the black side of my family, about how they had come up here from the Jim Crow South and the stuff that my grandparents went through and why my grandfather came to Seattle of all places. And I've given speeches about that. But the fact of the matter is my Japanese mother, who was born in Seattle, I did not know much about that side of my family. But I've been very fortunate in recent times to visit the small village that my grandfather had come from in Kumamoto and actually meet who would have been my mother's first cousins. And they never even knew what happened to my grandfather who had come here and set up a business. They thought he was a sumo wrestler in Tokyo. I kid you not. They told me the story. And I said, well, why did he end up in Seattle? The man was put to prison for treason. He was interned with the Japanese. And they said because they saw something in Seattle about opportunity, about hope, about inspiration, about prosperity. And I said, Seattle in 1962, they sort of had become this kind of city. And as Y. King said, there's a lot of things we could be proud of in this city. But we have to look at that soft underbelly as well, where we have not done well. And we know what's on that list. But we celebrate because we got, other than the fact that he went to Franklin and I went to Garfield, we got Dr. Brent Jones here as our superintendent, right? You got the right people in the right positions of power. This is our time in 2023. This is our time right now. We're going to celebrate at Africatown. We're just getting started, baby. I'm going to tell you that right now. We're just getting started. I'm glad that Councilmember Nelson is here and Teresa Mosqueda is here. They hold the checkbook, by the way. I can only propose money to them, but they wouldn't be here if Africatown didn't matter to them. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hearing my words. And Trayon, thanks for your flexibility. Proclamation. By the way, this proclamation is so beautiful. I forgot to do that. Thank you, Gerald. Hercules. That's what it is when you said it like that. Some of you know what I mean by that. First of all, this is so beautifully written by no one other than Royal Alley Barnes. I can't act like I wrote it, but because these words are powerful, so bear with me. It's not that long. Whereas the state of Africatown is the brilliant and collaborative work of founders, the Honorable Don Mason, as well as K.Y. King Garrett, the President and CEO, Africatown Community Land Trust, of the Africatown Community Land Trust, in cooperation with a host of community members. And whereas the state of Africatown began as a listening session for elected officials and policymakers to hear Black innovators and leaders share their strategic ideas for Seattle's Black community. That's how it started. And whereas the state of Africatown is celebrating a decade of realizing the vision of Black Seattle, I gotta say that again, realizing the vision of Black Seattle and the imperative nature of its community-based civic work. And whereas this momentous community gathering right here, right now, creates and contributes to innovative visions that can effectively impact and change the landscape of one Seattle as a place of equity. And whereas Africatown Community Land Trust is working towards community ownership of land in the Central District that can support the cultural and economic thriving of people who are part of the African diaspora in the greater Seattle region, and, it's my last one, whereas the city of Seattle acknowledges and commends the far-reaching impacts of the annual State of Africatown gathering with the Black communities, private organizations, business, and civic leadership. Now therefore, I, Bruce Harrell, Mayor of Seattle, do hereby proclaim February 25th, 2023 to be the State of Africatown Day. Thank you very much, Royal. Thank you. I'll hand that to you. I'll give you the mic.
Thank you, Bruce. Just want to say thank you to Mayor Harrell and First Lady Harrell for allowing to join us this morning, and all of the team that came out, and we look forward to working with this administration to realize if Seattle is going to be a great city, a world-class city, we should absolutely have a world-class Black African-American community rooted right here in the Central District. Thank you.
All right, all right. Let's thank Mayor Harrell one more time. Amazing. Thank you, thank you. Well, we have a couple more presenters for y'all, and I'm excited to bring up Miss Kiana Pickett of the Postman. Let's welcome her, y'all. Okay. Hello, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Kiana Rose Pickett of the Postman. Let me see my notes. I'm a little nervous. So I just wanted to kind of go over 3 things: what we have done, what we imagine the future of the Postman, and what we're currently doing at the Postman. So I say we because we're a company. I also carry in spirit Devon Pickett Jr. with me. So we incorporated in 2016 when we came up with the official idea and registered with the Secretary of State. And then we opened our doors 2 years after that, August 1st of 2018. Since then, we've served over 10,304 customers with an average of 4 visits per customer. We were listed by the Puget Sound Business Journal as number 9 Black-owned company, ranked by revenue. Number of jobs we have created and people we've employed since opening is 19. We made it through COVID as an essential business. We experienced the passing and the continuous work and legacy of Devon Pickett Jr., who was murdered in front of our business on October 19th of 2022. And in light of that, we have been able to start our philanthropy work through Devon's legacy, which he actually got to start this past summer with the CD Panthers by being part of getting new jerseys. So our jerseys with the CD Panthers do have the logo of the Postman. We, since he was murdered, we were able to get donations through Seattle Kraken to support community passageways, Bill 206, and and CD Panthers. Yeah, that's great work. We've also, in our philanthropy work, have an endowment that we're fundraising for with Seattle University. What we imagine the future of the Postman through partnering with neighboring business and community organizations is to increase our logistic market share, meaning opening more brick and mortar stores across our city. We have our second store opening late spring, this 2023 late spring, early summer, just south of Othello Station at the corner of Willow and Martin Luther King Jr. Way. So kind of having that South End CD connection. What else? We also have been in development with our the Postman and Neighborhood Marketplace app, and we're looking to build our technology headquarters. We've been thinking about like the SVI building, maybe the William Gross Center, somewhere to have a home for our technology to grow. What we're currently doing at the Postman is, like I mentioned, we're expanding to South Seattle. We're developing the Postman app and neighborhood marketplace. And what that is, so the software for the application will allow users to use their shipping and business, our shipping and business services through an app, and then have a marketplace that represents the small and micro businesses that use our business. And so as we expand our brick and mortar stores, the neighborhood marketplace will expand. What else? We also have the fundraising for the endowment. So for the past 3.5 years, students from the computer science and engineering program have been deeply engaged in project-based work with Devon and I at the Postman. The Project Center, in collaboration with the Postman, has offered multiple capstone projects to local Black-owned businesses. Establishing this endowment at Seattle University will allow us to offer annual STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics projects to local Black and minority-owned businesses, and continue to facilitate collaboration and learning between business and STEM students. Please help us honor Devon and mine and the Postman's commitment to innovation and community by spreading the word, donating yourself. We're seeking to our seed gift totaling $25,000, which I just got word that we're like really close to that first goal. That's going to anchor our fundraising efforts. Seattle University does accept gifts of all kinds, stocks, gifts from donor advised fund, cash, other assets, and we encourage corporate matching gifts when available. Many businesses will provide double or triple match periods for their employees during the year. This is an excellent way to provide the critical support needed to kickstart our effort. If you're interested in supporting, you can contact me at thepostman.social at gmail.com. And once we reach our initial $25,000 goal, we'll launch a public fundraising website that then our ultimate goal of $100,000. So if you spread that word and let people know, that will continue to support students. And like we've heard already about the pipelines, this pipeline, as we imagine, will create more jobs and careers in the tech and STEM field, as well as business. So some ways that you can stay in contact with us and our mission, keeping communities connected, is visiting our store at 1143 Martin Luther King Jr. Way, which is the corner of Union and MLK. We do have a link tree that's available on our website, thepostmanseattle.com, as well as we are heavy on our Instagram. So if you're on social media, that's where we post. And thank you guys. So phenomenal, all these amazing updates. All right, we're gonna continue. We have one more update for y'all. Let's give it up for Devontae Parson with Pro Say Potential.
Oh, okay. Can I move around with this a little bit? Is that cool? All right. Can you guys hear me? All right, for sure, for sure. First off, man, let's give one round of applause to Miss Pickett. Miss Pickett, man. Big shout out, man, for real. Holding it down. Respect, respect. I also want to give a shout out to White King real quick, man. This man is near and dear to my heart. The reason why is because I don't even know if White King remembered this. He probably did, you know, the strategist he is. 15 years ago, I think it was, White King gave me my first platform to perform music in Langston Hughes when I was still a wild kid running around the streets. He used to try to get us all in the neighborhood, you know, talk to us, mentor us, and do what he could. But, you know, I was so far gone, I wasn't ready to listen and take in what he was saying. But he was like, all right, young bro, I know you love music. I know your partners love music. Let me give you guys an opportunity to sit here, record some music about your pain, and put it towards people. And it's crazy that 15 years later, after all that has happened, we come full circle, and we're right here. And he's always looked out for me, never forgot about me, never forgot about none of me and the homies. So I appreciate that, man. All love. So my name is Devontae Parson. I'm the executive director and founder of Pro Se Potential, an organization that works with young people of color, helps them with mentorship and resource navigation throughout Seattle and South King County. Now, before I get heavy into that, I want to tell you where the story started, because you have to understand where the story started to understand the whole purpose of the organization, right? Let's begin. The Central District. I grew up in the Yester Terrace Projects, right down the street. Born in '92, came up here with my grandmother when my father was murdered before I was born. And my mom couldn't handle it, so she sent my older brother to Texas and sent me here with my grandmother. What happened is over and over, I started falling heavier into the streets. You know how your environment is. Your environment plays a lot into your thinking. And for a 50-something-year-old grandmother, it was extremely difficult for her to be able to raise me and teach me how to be a young man. She gave me all the manners, right? I mean, she taught me yes, ma'am, no, sir, how to open doors for my elders, Mr. and Mrs. and all those different things. But when I walked out into those streets, I saw the prostitutes, I saw the crackheads, I saw the homies, I saw the older homies. That's what I seen. I seen the violence, right? So I fell heavy into that. In and out of the juvenile system, in and out of juvenile prison system. Eventually, I ended up going to jail. I ended up going to juvenile prison, getting on house arrest, going 14 years old, catching my first shooting on East Cherry Street, where I'm from. Then my grandma went to prison. So my grandma went to prison for something she did 25 years before. They came and snatched her up. That was the last piece of stability that I had in my life. White King was one of the only people I knew that was out here trying to do the mentorship to a group of maybe 100-something young men. So of course you're not going to be able to reach all of us in depth like this necessary. So as I fell more and more into the streets, I became homeless. I'm sleeping on buses. I'm sneaking in girls' houses. I'm robbing people to eat dinner at night. I'm doing what I can to survive. I'm in survival mode. This picture is a reflection of where I was with the homies. Some of you guys may recognize them. I'm sure White King recognized some of them. Some of these young people on here that we took this picture with are dead, murdered. Some of them just got out of prison. Some of them are still in prison. Some of them are strung out on drugs. But we were all victims of our society, of our environment. I received the most amount of love from every single one of those. That was my family. So when I talk to these young people, I understand that you come from something that you don't fully understand. You exert the behavior based off of what you see around you. You just need somebody to love on you. So we fall into the group, we fall into each other, and we love on each other. And we're willing to stand up and die for anybody that comes and try to perpetrate that love. But it's misplaced. So the juveniles, in and out of juveniles, I ended up in juvenile prison, getting out, all they do is prep you for the next situation, right? I go to prison, I end up getting in a situation when I'm 22 years old. I go to a bar, mind you, I already have records, got out doing a year and a half for 4 robberies. Did juvenile prison for robbery, I can't even tell you how many things I had on my record by this time. But I'm 22 years old, I'm out at this bar, I get into a situation where it turned to a gang fight to a shooting. Next thing you know, I'm sitting in jail facing 8 attempted murders, a drive-by shooting, and unlawful possession of a firearm. 144 years they were trying to give me. Right, damn, man. They slid a 25-year deal under my door and said, look, bro, we caught you across the street with the guns in the car. You're on video shooting. It's a wrap. Take this 25 years, sit it out, go back home at 47, probably a grandpa by then, and hope it's okay. But what I did was I fought that case. I fired my attorney. I went pro se. I learned the law. I beat those attempted murders. I took an unlawful possession of a firearm, walked away with 6 years, did my time, developed myself, got out, put a book out. And I put this because that was when I was 15 years old. This book I put out in 2020 when I first got out, Pro Se, The Art of Becoming More. I dedicated the rest of my life to creating Pro Se Potential, doing mentorship and resource navigation to young people, that come up in the struggle, that came from nothing, didn't have those mentors. We're those mentors for them now. We got ladies who mentor the young ladies that are in the program, guide them to better self. We got men that mentor the young men. We come through wherever we can to the low-income neighborhoods. We bring forth hope and restoration. And when we talk about how we can help, my main goal is to provide the community for the individuals that are in the community that need assistance and the young people that are coming out the system. To be that hope for them, to be that mentorship, to be that navigation. And the way that Seattle can help is I want to expand to Seattle. So if we got any type of connections to where we can get funding, to hire more mentors, to hire more navigators, to bring forth, let's make those connections because we are the voice and we're moving forward in power. Thank you.
Great job, brother. Wow. Let's give it up. I mean, some amazing presenters. Let's give it up for them all. And right now, we have one of our beloved young performers about to hit the stage, y'all. Let's give it up for Sky Dior.
Okay, so music. My name's Sky Dior, and you may have heard Wade in the Water, right? But you have never heard it like this. So when I say Wade, I'm gonna need y'all to say Wade. 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 All right, I think we're ready.
Listen up, since we're trying to stop the violence, then let's change the narrative. It's a million. You can be president, be bigger than you've ever been. It's not a fantasy, Kamala is the evidence. I got so much melanin in me, don't know what to do. And it's covering my chest, it's like I'm bulletproof. And I don't wanna hear a thing until they pay the fee. My people dying every day, and it's right to me. Cause like killing, it's gonna take more of us. Stop killing each other, we need our warriors. I see a better day ahead for you and me. For my friends, for my teacher, for my family. We gotta travel through the mud to get the sunshine. So let the kids lead the line for the one time. Don't worry about it, they gon' hate from the bleachers. Just wait till them people poppin' way through the speakers. Go! Wait, 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 wait. Hey everybody! Next verse, I'm gonna show you a little dance line. It's called Wait! Just follow with the music. You ready? Alright, alright. Yeah, now when you wait, you gotta mix it up. Side to side, kick back and then you switch it up. Crisscross, hit the wall and then you bring it back. Turn around, slap the ground and then you crank that. Come on, get up your seat and get your weight on. No depression, just pressing less of the pressure on them. And I don't wanna hear a thing until they pay the fee. My people dying every day, and it's whack to me. Kids are shooting up schools, that ain't the golden rule. I choose to stand for my fam if that's the only tool. I see a better day ahead for you and me. For my friends, for my teacher, for my family. We gotta travel through the mud to get the sunshine. So let the kids lead the line for the one time. Don't worry about it, they gon' hate from the bleachers. Just wait till them people poppin' way through the speakers. Go! Yeah, now when you wait, you gotta mix it up. Side to side, kick back and then you switch it up. Crisscross, hit the wall and then you bring it back. Turn around, slap the ground and then you break that. Wait, 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 wait.
Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it so much. But I'm gonna end it off with a poem. And right now, sorry for the cracky voice, I'm sorry, but right now, I wanna talk to the parents. I want to speak to the guardians. I need you to know that you matter to your child. Today is different than yesterday. And tomorrow will be too. But I'm here to say that the words you speak over them do not affect just you. I need you to speak life every day. In the morning when they wake, and before they go outside to play, I need you to speak life. Because all we have is you. I need you to understand that we depend on you to make it through. Come on, somebody. Anybody? Raise your hands if you care. It's vital that you tell us every day that you'll always be there. And to my peers, hey, black child, do you know who you are? Who you really are? Do you know you can be anything you want to be? If you try to be everything you can be. Hey, black child, do you know where you're going? And I mean, really going? Do you know you can learn everything you want to learn if you just try to learn what you can learn? Hey, black child, do you know you are strong? And I mean really strong. Do you know you can do what you want to do if you try to do what you can do? Hey, black child, be what you can be. Learn what you must learn. Do what you can do. And tomorrow, your whole nation will be what you want it to be. Thank you. I would like to thank the state of Africatown, Why King, and you guys.
Oh, let's give it up one more time for Sky Dior, y'all. Our future is bright. Right now, we're gonna bring back all of the amazing presenters y'all got to hear from today. All of y'all, come on down to the stage. We have some volunteers who would love to present you all with some gifts. Let's give it up one more time for all the presenters, y'all. All of y'all, all of y'all. We want to say thank you for the work you're doing. Thank you for being in community in the ways you are. Thank you so much for presenting this year at the State of Africatown and for doing the work you all are doing in community. One more time for all these amazing presenters, y'all. Thank you all. Thank you. Well, this has been a phenomenal time. I get to bring back K. King Garrett for some final comments. That's right.
Can we give it up for the face? You know, our media face. Can we give it up? Our queen of media, our hostess with the mostest today, Trey Holiday, every day, the day with Trey on Converge Media. She keeps the community aware of what's going on and highlights so many of the positive things happening in our community. Thank you, Trey, for your dedication to community. Thank you all for joining us today. This was a celebration, also a recognition, and also a recommitment. Is that right? Right, so we celebrate what we can do. We know that's what is in us is much greater than anything out here that's against us if we really just tap in and don't tap out. And so the recommitment is that to take it to the next level, to make the next decade greater than the last decade, to change the trajectory from leaving us out, pushing us out, to writing ourselves in, writing our children in, writing a future of vibrancy in for the Sky Dior's, the young entrepreneurs. Do we see our young entrepreneurs have a store opening on 3rd Avenue in downtown Seattle? Don't let that go over your head now. They're down there where William Gross, 100 years ago, opened his businesses. So now we're talking about continuing legacy with our new generation, our next generation of entrepreneurs that will build businesses. Starbucks is built off of African culture, the Ethiopian coffee ceremony, and so many more things, and so powering our young people. Life Enrichment Bookstore is still there. Do y'all know that? Make sure you go down, there's events. It's an event space, you need to host events. Get down to Life, and thank you, Sister Aliyah, for your dedication and keeping that alive with the family. So the recommitment is we can only go as far as you take us. We can only go as far. No one of us is greater than all of us. So we can only go as far as the community, our supporters, our volunteers, our thought partners, our thought leaders will take our community. So we know there's resources right now surrounding our community, flowing in the country. So many times, the resources are flowing and they just happen to flow around us. We need you to sign up, get involved. We need researchers. We need people watching the dollars as they come in that are designated for us to make sure they get to our communities, to our young people, to our businesses, to our cultural institutions, to our wellness initiatives. So we need that support. So when you get the email, respond. We like to think of this as a work party. You know, we party, we eat good, we got some good music, but we're getting things done because where we are was paved by others. And what our children will have will be paid by us. So we have to make that commitment. I see our board vice chair, Jacqueline Smith Armstrong. Do you have some words for us?
Absolutely.
Okay, I want to make the space, but I just want to thank you. William Gross Center is open. Programs are there, looking for more partnerships, williamgross.org. Africatown Plaza is under construction. The Banu Community Home across the street. You know, we bought a square block. It was formerly the Carroll Assisted Living Center. Now it's the Banu Community Home. It's an enhanced shelter program focused on reducing the overrepresentation of black men in the houseless population. I want to give a big salute. It's a 24/7 operation. One of the hardest jobs in this city. Y'all been down to 3rd Avenue. You know what we're dealing with. And we have a team that is dedicated to providing culturally responsive care with dignity and love for the men that may be on a downbeat so they can get back up on their feet and join back in building the community up. So I want to definitely acknowledge the Banu Community Home. And from there, Miss Jacqueline Smith Armstrong, she keeps, absolutely. I just want to say, Jacqueline joined our board. She said, I'm retired, but I'm not tired. And her energy, having an elder that is that lively, makes, I can't stop. So we appreciate you, the energy that you bring to the organization and the way that you are a champion for us. And with that, please, Ms. Jacqueline Smith. I want to recognize the other board members, if anyone is here, our board chair, Margot Jones, Save Your Knowledge, our founding board member. Anyone else? All right.
Well, Grand Rising family, this has been a great day for community. I am Jacqueline Smith Armstrong, also known as Auntie. I'm a lifelong resident of the CD, and as White King mentioned, I am Vice Chair of Africatown Community Land Trust Board. I would like to just take a moment to walk down memory lane of Seattle's historical Central District. It was the year 1985. Seattle's Coleman School stood out for many years as a symbol for the city's African American community due to the distinction of the first school in Seattle, attended by black students, as well as hiring many black teachers. When it was closed in 1985 due to the impending expansion of Interstate 90, many felt the building should have been converted into a Black History Museum. Y'all remember that? A group of African American community activists began an occupation of the building as a means of focusing the issue forward. The activists numbered roughly 40 people that entered the building located at 24th Avenue South and South Atlantic Street through a window that had been broken earlier by vandals. That building had lights, but no heat, no running water. I remember 38 years ago, community supporters, including myself, dropping off food and water. The main organizers were Brother Omari Tahir, and I do see him in the audience. Much respect to you, Brother Omari Tahir, Charlie James, Earl Deadman, Michael Greenwood. They would continue the school occupancy for 8 years, making their action the longest act of civil disobedience in U.S. history. I remember, that's right, give it to him. I remember this incident 38 years ago because I saw a young boy in that building, Omari's son. That young boy today is K.Y. King Garrett. He is today's president and CEO of Africatown Community Land Trust, and more importantly, he has never lost sight of the importance of building community. He is a third-generation community builder, a social entrepreneur, co-catalyst for numerous ventures, and an extraordinary, humble individual. And so on behalf of our illustrious Madam Board Chair, Margot Jones, and Margot is such a caring individual, she was present in the building earlier, but she did leave because there are 4 different funerals going on in our community as we speak, and because she wants to show support, she is attending a homegoing for a very close friend. But again, on behalf of Margot Jones, who is our board chair, the entire Africatown Community Board of Directors, the greater Seattle area, and particularly Seattle's historic Central District, we salute White King today. He has shown, that's right. He has shown a tireless commitment to disrupting gentrification, creating spaces to preserve our Black legacy, fighting for social justice and housing equity, a vision of hope and possibility to reimagine Black Seattle. But more importantly, you understand, and he understands, the vital importance of collaboration, the power of partnership, which is demonstrated by completing 21 projects in 2021. Again, as I had mentioned, Margot is not here, but because she wanted to make sure her voice was heard, these are her heartfelt words. White King, as I am not able to make it today to personally give you this award, I want to make sure that in my absence that you truly know how proud and appreciative I am of you for being the community visionary leader, warrior, activist, mentor, friend, and brother, and CEO of ACLT. Your commitment to this community is more than award-worthy because your passion give to others is thoughtless and unwavering. I speak as the chairwoman of the board on behalf of the board of directors for ACLT, but I also speak for numerous amounts of individuals that you've mentored, businesses and organizations you've supported, and for all programming that have created the supports for the well-being and education for our youth. It is an honor to know you and to have worked with you for the past 20 years, and as you keep me motivated and continually push me to want to be the change we want to see in this world and here in Central Seattle. You continue to fight in the battle to make sure we've seen and heard, and with that, we are very grateful for you in the community. Thank you for all that you continue to do. Our ancestors are standing with you today as they are applauding you in this moment and echoing these words of appreciation. I will continue to stand with you as we work together, and in her famous words, buy the CD back. Black. So while we may be enjoying, and those are words of our board chair, while we may be enjoying a fish fry or a barbecue, kicking it with friends, White King is reading books and researching tools on how to empower our community. And because of how he makes that effort, we are now recognized Seattle as a thought leader throughout the country on vital issues to advance Black communities. Let me just close by saying, thank you seems like an understatement. And if Margot and I had the opportunity, y'all know queens hold up half the sky. Y'all know that, right? Queens hold up half the sky. So if it were up to me and Margot, we would have managed to climb on the top of this rooftop, stand on the building with a bullhorn, and deliver this message. But the podium's gonna work for today. White King, would you please come forward? I can't see you, White King. There you are. Please accept this community award and know that the community stands with you, and also know that our ancestors continue to guide your journey with peace, protection, power, and blessings. Ashe.
All right, I definitely have to just say thank you. You know, I'm nothing without you all and many more. We can do a lot more. What 2 Chainz say? I just want to, I don't remember that one. I just want to make my mama proud. You know, for me, you know, I just want to make my Baba proud. So, I'm going to dedicate this to my father. Omari Tahir Garrett, he's definitely an unsung hero. He never stopped fighting. He put it all on the line for this community. So, you know, I see some of the folks that have come along the way, and I'm looking forward to you taking it to the next level. So, State of Africatown 2023, you know, we just have to build a future that's greater than our past, and we can do it. You know, take off all the blinders, take off all the limitations, and let's just be great. So thank you all. Let's keep building.
There it is.
Could everybody from Africatown Community Land Trust, Africatown Center for Education Innovation, Umoja Peace Center, Umoja Fest just Come down to the stage, please. Come on down to the stage.
Everybody.
King County Equity Now.
Yeah.
Black Community Impact Alliance. So these are the folks that have been behind the scenes. Look at Tugga. We got Black Dot. This is some of the folks. It's not all the folks. We got Ty Griffin, our new program manager at the William Gross Center for Cultural Innovation. Got Abdi Muhammad, our CPA. Brother Freddie, case manager at Banu Community Home. Sister Donita Villavaso Madden, HR Wonder Woman. Mujali Chisabuka, he made that logo in 2012. And we've been moving ever since. Co-founder of Black Dot. Kanisha Pobike, our new communication marketing manager at Africatown Community Land Trust. The one and only, you know, Jacqueline got bars, y'all. You heard, man, she just be flowing. She's a poet. Our vice chair of Africatown Community Land Trust Board, Tarasha Thomas, been with us since 2008 when we cleaned out Moja Peace Center. Tugga, Latricia, now a senior in high school. She was a baby back then. Coach Eastmore, been with us since SVI, Seattle Hip Hop Youth Council, Moja Peace Center. Now our operations admin director, Africatown Community Land Trust. The one and only Trey Holiday, Africatown Community Land Trust. She's now in the equity department of the state of Washington, but she won't give up her Africatown Community Land Trust email. She said, I'm gonna be an ambassador no matter what. You can't cut that off. And come on, Rita. Rita Green. This is Charlene Williams' daughter. I have the honor of her coming to help me as my executive assistant / boss. She said, is Savior, where's Savior? All right, peace, Savior, knowledge, had the vision, the idea to acquire Midtown Center. Him and my father got together and came to me. Tom Bangasser, I see, is here also in the building. He was a champion. He's the reason why the black community has some ownership on 23rd and Union, because that's what he wanted to see happen. Dr. Norwood Brooks is here. There's a lot of people, I know a lot of people in this audience, but I just want to give it up for this team. I see James Keblis, he's always supporting us with our vision for getting our creatives into the economy. Chapalo, our new state representative of the 37th District. Chapalo Street, he's in the back. He didn't make himself known. So we got a lot of work to do. Oh, where? Oh, okay. Our King County Councilman, Gamai Zahalai, he's been here every step of the way. So we got a future. So if we missed you, it's not because we don't love you. But I just want to give a hand for the team that's now behind the scenes, taking us to the next phase, and we're hiring. So spread the word. Africatown Community Land Trust is hiring. We're looking for board members, committee members. So when you get the email, if you don't have time, spread the word. We need our best and our brightest to bring some of the brilliance back. We're paying. At first, when Tarasha and Coach E and everyone else started, there wasn't no pay. We were paying. Now we got benefits and everything like that. But we're not going to nonprofit our way out of this thing, y'all. I just want to remind us that we're not going to grant hustle our way out of this thing. We still got to tap in. We still got to make sure it's getting into our young people. And we have to build institutions that will be here. Programs come and go. I've seen so many. We have to build institutions that endure over time. That's what we're about at Africatown. Thank you all. Mix, mingle, network, and let's keep connecting and building.
There's a reception downstairs. There's food and mingle time, please.
All right, hey there. I am John Chen. I'm your virtual MC, and you have been watching the State of Africa, Africatown 2023. Thank you for joining in. Just want to do a recap here, and I just want to thank the many people who are online who have been chatting along with us. Thank you, Jamie White. Nikita is here. Let's see who else is here. We got some other chatters that have been on here. Gary Perry, thank you so much for all your chats. Ivory, and everyone else who has been chatting along here with us. Let's just do a quick recap. And again, take a moment for those who are loving this program. Make sure and hit the chat if you're watching here on Facebook Live or one of our many other live streams. Today opened with the drummers. Mishenga did a drumming processional. Then Treyana Holiday, of course, welcomed us. By the way, of course, Emmy award-winning, right here, straight from Seattle. Tim Lennon, who's the Langston Hughes executive director. What an amazing center. I got a chance to see some photographs of that. If you have an event, make sure and use Langston Hughes. Don Mason then gave something to read by Treyana as one of our openings. Sister Kafani Mwamba did our libations today. The one and only Josephine Howe sang the Black National Anthem. And man, she blew the roof off of that. You got to go back, hit the replay on that. Evelyn Allen was the presenter for this year's Elder of Distinction Award, and that award went to Aliyah Messiah. Congratulations again, Aliyah. She has done so much for the community. We had youth presentations from Terashua Thomas, and the Lo Watatu Awards were given away there. Then we had a great, amazing collection of presenters. Ashley McGritt, Jaron Bookie Gates about the power of baseball and black baseball here in Seattle. Robert Baker and Lucretia Claytor. Kay King Garrett, and of course our great Mayor Bruce Harrell came in here with some affirming and inspiring comments. And King really kicked off, I think, the inspiration there. Kiana Pickett came in afterwards, Devontae Parson, and then Sky Dewar literally blew the mics off all of you. You got to follow her on her Instagram account where all of her media is at. We brought all the presenters to stage. And then Jacqueline Smith Armstrong, the vice president of the the Africatown Community Trust Leadership Board was there. And all the other people from ACLT came to stage, and King just really gave a lot of shout outs, got emotional when Jacqueline Armstrong gave him an award for all of his work. So, and then now they're having a reception. And for all of you who have been online, I just want to say thank you one more time for joining us here. Hey, Gary, thank you for the shout out. Great chat moderator. By the way, go back to the chat. We have chats for every single presenter about information that they have, their LinkedIn. You want to connect with these people. These are the people who are moving, shaking, making things happen here in Black Seattle. So as part of that, again, I'm proud to be part of what I call the Blasian Alliance, right? That's the Black Asian Alliance here, making this live stream great for you. I just want to say thanks. I hope you enjoy this live stream, and just do us one more favor. Hit the share button and share the stream. Spread the word of Africatown and let everybody know that Seattle is at the forefront. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.